And during that whole time period, are you just like in love with what you're doing and the grind? Is there any like stress associated with the fact that you're clearly on this path, or is it just every day you're working towards this goal?
That's a really good question, right? For us, we were super passionate, and we seen and knew where we were going, because we knew we were dope, and we knew we were constantly developing our vocals, right? And we knew we had, ties to the industries. Like, we're in all these different, I mentioned this earlier, but that first group that we had put together with the 5 of us, we were in every different label. We were in Interscope. We were at, LaFace. We were at Arista and all these different places. So to have that opportunity, but the politics of the failure comes to like, damn, we didn't get the deal. But then we come back around, and you got the same 3 out of that group. Now you got Amari, and we come back around, and we wind up seeing some of these same labels. So I feel like for us, we knew that we had the core, and once we, added Amari to the group, that formed B2K. And that was like the nucleus that really, along with the politics and the great management and the great discipline that we had. And then you got Tommy Mottola pulling the trigger, spending millions of dollars.
Yeah,
like
they don't do. It's almost like
we were one of the last.
It's almost like we're having this conversation, and I'm forgetting that this is the thing that the music industry doesn't really do anymore, and it's why
they do sometimes.
They pick and choose who
when they gonna push the button.
If that person is just so obviously going to be huge, then they all get behind them and they make it happen.
Billie Eilish, they spent millions behind her.
Exactly,
she was going to be phenomenal. I mean, they spent like probably $5-7 million before she even came out.
Yeah,
but she probably couped that. She made all that back during tour.
Right, but it's like we kind of constantly having that conversation because like rap is very low in the top 100 at this point. It's like I think there's no rap records in the top 100 right now, and it just kind of like stands out a lot that like, oh, I used to kind of have like a flow of rappers to interview all the time that were like being pushed by the labels.
Got you.
And that's not so much the case anymore.
So you think that's, I don't want to say it's an agenda. Do you believe, or would you suggest or recommend that the labels are moving away from rap?
Oh, yeah, for sure they are.
With respects to that, it's time to clean things up. I know we have, as a culture, have things they want to express, but we've seen so many examples. I would have to say Jay-Z is a prime example of someone who cleaned it up.
Yeah.
That's your perfect example. You know what I mean?
I mean, cleaned it up in
what? I mean, like, for example, like if I'm glorifying killing, if I'm glorifying disrespecting women, if I'm glorifying all that different stuff is like a low vibration frequency that we as people don't need to be there. Like you know what I mean? So, and we have all this knowledge now, especially on what to eat, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, if you clean it up, I mean, the world would be a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Jay-Z said right before 50 Cent came out, he was telling his label, like, somebody's going to come through and DMX the game, which is kind of crazy because...
Before 50 came out?
Yeah, like, but if you think...
50 do it?
Like, 50 was like 2021, 2022, and like DMX was like 1998. So this is actually like pretty close together. But like, he basically like was saying like, the game is polished. The game is poppy. The game is Diddy. The game is everything right now is very polished and shiny and it's appealing to the mass market.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And then 50 comes out and he's super gangster and he's got these real stories about getting shot that like other rappers did not have at that time. And that was what the game needed at that time. Everything was too clean. Let's interject a crazy element of gangster shit. The question is right now, what is that thing? What is because Lord knows we've seen enough gangster shit.
Right. Oh, what is that next thing that's gonna like
make people love hip hop again? Because it kind of felt like we had like SoundCloud rap type that sort of energy, the Playboy Cardis and the X's and Juice WRLDs, and all these guys.
All dope.
And then by the time you get to like the 2020s, it felt like as far as rap, I'm mostly specialized in rap, so I'm kind of referring to rap. But like by the 2020s, it starts going all street. Everybody's shooting some shit up in their lyrics or whatever. And then it kind of feels like right now the audience has kind of got sick of that. And they're kind of like, okay, we've heard enough murder anthems. Yeah. But that's the question is like, what's next?
I mean, there's a lot of people that's answering for that right now. And they have been for years. Tragedy what happened to Biggie and Tupac. Yeah. But look how they learned from that and brought 50 in. Yeah. And marketed like that.
And really
a phenomenon.
Like 5 years later.
Phenomenal.
Because there was that vibe in the industry of like, oh, let's not push rap. That's
Somebody got
gangster. That's
shot.
this.
I mean,
because people used to be on their album covers with guns, and then that
50 had
went
great
away.
music too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm talking about like before. All that.
Yeah.
But then
I mean,
with Tupac and Biggie, it was kind of like, okay, we can't on the corporate side, we can't be promoting all this gangster shit.
that shit was
in the
great.
same way.
That shit was crazy, bro. That shit was crazy.
Changed everything.
No, you're a smart man. I see you. You're embedded in the culture. I'm over here, like I'm over here in my mind, like, oh yeah, bro, this is some deep shit you talking about. Right? No, these are some serious facts, bro.
Just
like, for real.
Talking shit. Hey, wait, so let me ask you this: did it feel like B2K was in some way a reaction to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys? Like, oh, we're gonna do the swagged out black version of what these other dudes have had success doing?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. It was timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They signed, that same room that Tommy Mottola signed us in, and rest in peace to Polly Anthony, and shout out to Dave McPherson and Katrina Askew, and all the people, Chris, and all the people that made that project, Max Goose, Martin Piven, Teese Williams, all these people that made that B2K project pop. It was positioned at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that meaning because the label had already had 3OW, right? They already had a girls group. They had Destiny Child as well, right? So I felt like we just slid right up in there. But maybe I could be wrong from someone else's opinion. I mean, NSYNC was out, Backstreet was out, and I think Tommy Mottola knew what he was doing. So that would have to be. I mean, who else was out at that time in 2001 that had that push? I mean, right before us, it was Drew Hill that had like a really big push, right?
I mean, if you're a smart music exec,
the last 1999.
If you're a smart music exec, you're looking at NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and thinking like, okay, if there's a million white girls going nuts for these dudes, then we probably could figure out a more urban black version of that.
They probably so.
Yeah,
probably so. I mean, because bro, we were number one on TRL. We didn't sell as much as they sold.
Yeah,
right. But I believe the group broke up a little early, but based off of being able to compete at the level, like NSYNC, they worked to get up to the level they was at. I feel like the label put us out at, yeah. So that would have to be a response because the type of money they spent. We got $700,000-$800,000 just at radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's for a new group.
Okay. Before we get into the breakup, though, what was the music creation process like? Are they just handing you songs? Are you guys working together, writing stuff? What was it?
That very first album, that was a collaboration more so with us. We had in-house producers, with the production company that we were signed to, Platinum Status, and they created music based off of our energy and our vibe, and based off of what was from my personal experience, what was hot around that time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that very first album, we had a little input, maybe wrote on one or two records, but we're new artists in the industry. That second album, we grew, and I felt like we had more hands on like A&R songs and picking different records, because some records are custom made. They're written right there on the spot. Some are already made, and they're sent to us, and we reference them and see what they sound like. So that process could be different for different artists. There's a lot of new artists that come out that write their ass off, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm pretty sure that process is a little bit different as well.
But if you had a song, or like, did that ever happen where like you or someone else in the group like had a song, or like, yo, I want to work on this, or would that energy not have been necessarily?
that energy got supported. Okay. We were so early in the game, if you're gonna, I believe that we would hear each other out, but it needs to be equivalent to when you got Tricky Stewart, who produced Baby and produced all these crazy records for Usher and so on and so forth. Like, we got superstar master producers, so you're competing at a high level. So there's raps that I know, like that Little Fizz and J Boog wrote on that was our first single. It was a gold single. It was number one for like 12 weeks on the Hot 100 singles charts, which is awesome. Won a Billboard award for that, which is pretty dope. And like, they actually wrote the rap together.
Right.
2 months of conversation, man. That's amazing. I wasn't mad. I was sitting in the back like, shit, can I get a word in? You know what I mean? But they got some publishing on that. So, and nobody knocked that. And I thought, for it being your first album, that was a collaborative effort, because the second album we wound up working on 10 songs.
If you haven't checked out Everything 420 yet, you are definitely missing out. From glass gear to infused sweets, they've got one of the best lineups online. They ship fast, it's always discreet, and their app makes shopping too easy. The deals are always running, and you can use code NOJUMPER for a little bonus at checkout. Shout out Everything 420.